This video is about how powerful people handle disrespect without reacting, explaining, or lowering themselves. If you've ever been subtly disrespected, talked over, dismissed, tested or undermined, and felt the urge to defend yourself or prove your worth, you already understand the trap. Most people respond emotionally, and in doing so, they give away leverage. Powerful people don't. They see disrespect as information, not an insult. In this video, you'll learn how authority is preserved through restraint, timing, and silence, how doing less often restores more. Stay until the end, because the final principle explains why powerful people rarely respond at all, and why that response is often the most effective one. What most people don't realize is that reacting once can change how you're treated for years. Confrontation can feel powerful in the moment, but it's often a trap set for the ego. Public arguments pull you down to the level of the conflict, turning you into just another participant in noise and drama. Powerful people don't command respect by raising their voice or escalating tension. They do it through calm. When you remain composed, you unsettle those who challenge you and quietly impress those watching. Authority isn't preserved by demanding it, it's preserved through restraint. Real power is controlled, deliberate, and positioned above petty disputes. Disrespect is bait, and your emotional reaction is what it's really aimed at. The moment you respond with anger, control shifts away from you and into the hands of the provocateur. Powerful people recognize this trap and refuse to step into it. Their strength lies in absorbing the moment without flinching. Once you see the game clearly, you realize your reaction is the only weapon that can be used against you. Create distance between what happens and how you respond. That space is where your power exists. When you don't take the bait, you keep control, and the person testing you is left with nothing to work with. Every conflict has an audience, and it's their perception that quietly decides the outcome. The moment you lose your composure, you lose their respect. Powerful people understand this and remain calm, allowing the challenger to reveal themselves instead. Silence and steady composure move the spotlight away from you and onto the aggressor's lack of control. People don't admire retaliation, they respect restraint. When you treat disrespect as something beneath you, you rise above it. In the court of public opinion, composure is your strongest ally, and once an audience sees you lose control, they never forget it. Demanding a public apology doesn't signal strength, it reveals insecurity. Forced apologies carry no weight and only expose a need for validation. Powerful people don't chase retractions or explanations. They move forward without looking back. When you pursue apologies, you prolong the drama and quietly reduce your authority. Real validation isn't granted by someone else's words. It comes from within. Indifference to the slight communicates far more than any demand ever could. By treating disrespect as irrelevant, you assert superiority without saying a word. In the larger strategy of power, not every challenge deserves your attention. The reactive person, guided by ego, feels the need to win every exchange. But that victory often comes with a hidden cost. Winning a small argument can create long-term enemies and slowly drain your energy. Powerful people conserve their strength for moments that truly matter. They understand that real power comes from choosing which battles are worth engaging and knowing when to let a minor slight pass without reaction. When confronted with disrespect, the instinct is often to fill the silence with words. But real power shows itself in restraint. Silence isn't weakness, it's a response. It creates a void that unsettles others. The person testing you expects a reaction, and when it doesn't come, they're forced to sit with their own discomfort. Your silence becomes a quiet display of strength, far more effective than any sharp reply. Let the silence do the work, and watch what happens when there's nothing for them to push against. Silence only works when it's intentional. Used carelessly, it weakens you. Composure is the outward expression of inner power. It shows in a steady hand, a calm expression, and relaxed posture that doesn't shift, even when things become tense. Powerful people hold their balance, becoming an anchor in turbulent moments. This level of self-control impresses observers and unsettles those who challenge it. Your composure quietly communicates that you are in control of the situation and of yourself. In a world that values speed, patience has become a rare advantage. Most people rush to respond, but powerful individuals understand that time is one of their greatest assets. Patience isn't passivity, it's a weapon. By waiting, you set the tempo and push others into uncertainty. While they act on impulse, you observe, plan, and gain clarity. Strategic patience signals confidence and control. When you control the timing, you quietly influence the outcome. In physics, large masses create gravitational pull. In life, stillness produces a similar effect. A powerful person who has mastered restraint develops a kind of social gravity. While others rush, react, and move impulsively, the still individual becomes the center. Everything orbits around. Their calm presence draws attention and commands respect without effort. By remaining still, you position yourself as the center of gravity, quietly powerful, steady, and in control. Sometimes, direct confrontation isn't the right move. Powerful people understand the value of the indirect response. They don't lower themselves to meet the challenger where the insult was made. Instead, they calmly redirect the conversation. Rather than defending themselves, they bring the focus back to what actually matters, signaling authority without friction. The disrespect fades into irrelevance, and the challenger finds themselves quietly repositioned, without a word needing to be said. One of the most effective tools powerful people use is turning an opponent's own energy against them. It's a principle borrowed from martial arts, and it applies just as cleanly to social situations. When someone comes at you aggressively, emotional, heated, eager to provoke, they're spending a great deal of energy. That energy usually comes from ego, insecurity, or pressure beneath the surface. The inexperienced response is to match that force and push back. But those who understand power take a different approach. They step aside. They create a vacuum, allowing the other person's momentum to carry them forward on their own. In that space, the challenger overextends, loses balance, and exposes themselves, without you having to lift a finger. That's the art of allowing others to expose themselves. When you respond to disrespect with calm silence and steady composure, you create a vacuum. The challenger expects resistance, but instead finds nothing to push against. It's like forcing against an open door. At first there's confusion, then discomfort. Soon they feel compelled to push harder, They need a reaction to justify their behavior, so they escalate. Their voice rises, their accusations become sharper, their movements grow tense and restless. They're searching for any response at all, and with every word, every frantic gesture, they reveal themselves, slowly, publicly, while you remain still. This moment feels uncomfortable, but what happens next is what changes everything. The person with real power simply observes. They remain steady and unmoved while the challenger begins to unravel. It's the social equivalent of giving someone just enough space to defeat themselves. The audience, the true judges in this moment, don't see a powerful person under attack. They see one individual maintaining dignity and another turning themselves into a spectacle. The original disrespect fades into the background, completely overshadowed by the challenger's behavior. You haven't said a single word against them, yet with every passing second, their standing diminishes. You're winning without acting at all, by allowing their lack of control to become the focus. Of course, this requires a cold, steady patience. You have to be willing to endure the moment without reacting, trusting the process to work in your favor. It's a test of nerve. You must resist the impulse to interrupt, to correct, or to defend yourself. Your role is simple. Provide the space, hold the spotlight, and let the challenger carry out their own undoing. When they finally exhaust themselves, after their desperation and lack of composure have been fully revealed, they're left standing alone, exposed and diminished. You, meanwhile, have preserved your energy and authority, winning the exchange without ever lifting a hand. Not all disrespect carries the same weight. Powerful people understand what can be ignored and what truly requires attention. Selective inattention means choosing where your focus goes, releasing minor slights and conserving your energy for things that matter. When you refuse to acknowledge small provocations, you protect your power and remain calm, focused, and positioned above the noise. At the center of every emotional reaction to disrespect is the ego. The ego is fragile. It's built on titles, reputation, and the opinions of others. When you feel disrespected, it demands retaliation. It urges you to defend, to prove, to react. But acting from ego means surrendering control, allowing someone else to dictate your behavior. Real power comes from noticing the ego without obeying it, choosing your response through calm awareness and deliberate self-mastery. This is where most people think they're acting from strength, when they're actually being controlled. Power is calm, detached, and always oriented toward the long game. It doesn't ask, "How did that make me feel?" It asks, "How does this affect my position?" The ego takes things personally. Power does not. To act from power is to see the world as a system of forces, not a collision of emotions. When you remove the personal element from conflict, you step into the role of a strategist, no longer reacting as a victim, but moving deliberately as a player in the game. The ego's need for validation has no limit. The more approval you seek, the more power you quietly give away, signaling that your confidence depends on others. Truly powerful people draw assurance from within. They rarely explain themselves or feel the need to defend their choices. Their decisions stand without support. By refusing to participate in the validation game, they become self-contained, a closed circuit of power that naturally commands respect. Some of what's being explored here doesn't fully register in the moment. It settles later, when you're alone, replaying situations in your mind. That's why there's a written work for those who want these ideas to stay with them. You'll find it linked below. The truly powerful almost never defend themselves in public. When criticism comes, their response is often silence. To the average person, this looks like weakness. But those who understand power know that defending yourself gives the attack weight it doesn't deserve. Instead, they allow their actions and their track record to speak for them. Real power is secure. It isn't distracted by critics or pulled into noise. It stays focused on results, quietly building a position so solid that words can't touch it. Authority isn't something granted by a title, it's something performed. Real authority lives in perception, in what others come to believe about you. Powerful people understand they are always being observed, judged less by what they say and more by how they carry themselves. Every pause, every gesture, every moment of silence communicates command. Like an experienced judge, authority is quiet, measured, and inevitable. In the arena of power, perception becomes reality. Your task is to embody it, to remain calm, steady, and impossible to dismiss. In the ecosystem of power, attention is a form of currency. Anger and argument are gifts the powerful rarely offer. Instead, they rely on genuine indifference, a quiet form of psychological dominance. Like a lion that doesn't react to a bird, indifference signals clear superiority. You're not ignoring to provoke or insult, but because their actions simply don't matter in your world. Real power is remaining completely unmoved, with your inner peace untouched. Power, time, and focus are limited resources. Powerful people treat their attention as something scarce, not something to be spent freely. They choose carefully when to engage and allow most noise to pass without response. Trivial distractions are filtered out. Small provocations are ignored. Their focus is saved for what actually moves the needle. By engaging less, you gain more control. Scarcity makes your attention and your presence valuable. Every unnecessary reaction costs more than you realize, and the bill always comes later. The perception of authority eventually forms into an aura of control. This aura is an invisible field that surrounds a powerful person. It's the feeling others sense when they're near them, a quiet stability, a sense of certainty, a weight that doesn't need to be announced. This aura isn't mystical or accidental. It's built slowly, over time, through consistent behavior. It forms piece by piece, through restraint, composure, strategic silence, and genuine indifference. It becomes the reputation that arrives before you do, a silent expectation that you are in control, not just of the situation, but of yourself. This aura becomes your greatest asset because it begins to work on your behalf. Once it's established, people hesitate before testing you at all. The memory of how you handled past challenges, or more accurately, how you refused to engage with them, acts as a quiet warning. Potential challengers think twice, knowing their efforts would likely be met with silence that only makes them look exposed or foolish. Your reputation for unshakable calm turns into a passive defense system. You reach a point where your power is so obvious that it no longer needs to be proven. That's the real objective, to neutralize future challenges before they ever appear, and to win without having to fight. Building this aura demands absolute consistency. You can't be composed one day and reactive the next. Every lapse, every emotional impulse you give into weakens the foundation you're trying to establish. Authority in this sense is a continuous performance. It has to become your default state, not something you switch on when it's convenient. Over time, calm restraint must feel natural, almost effortless. People should come to expect your steadiness, your controlled engagement, your refusal to be pulled into noise. When your behavior is reliably controlled, your authority becomes reliable as well, and that reliability solidifies respect. The perception of authority is a long-term project. It's built slowly through repetition, not overnight displays. Once people expect your restraint, breaking it costs more than holding it. It's a slow, patient accumulation of power built through quiet, disciplined behavior. It's the result of choosing strategy over ego again and again, even when reacting would feel easier. When you master your own reactions, you begin to shape how others see you. By controlling yourself, you quietly influence the dynamics around you. You stop being someone who needs to ask for respect or enforce it. You become someone who naturally commands it. This is authority that doesn't rely on noise or display, authority that lasts, steady and enduring long after loud dominance fades. Restraint is a deep and lasting source of strength. Real authority isn't demonstrated in the middle of an argument, but in the calm that comes after provocation. When you choose not to react, you take control of how the situation is understood. Restraint becomes the foundation of quiet authority, a clear signal of self-mastery, slowly building a form of power that is stable, respected, and able to sustain itself without effort. In a world crowded with noise and constant displays of dominance, real authority remains quiet and enduring, like a mountain, silent, grounded, immovable. It doesn't announce itself. Its presence is simply felt. While loud challenges exhaust themselves and fade, quiet authority stays intact, steady and unchanged. This is the nature of silent power. It outlasts the noise, remaining long after everything else has burned out. This isn't a moral lesson. It's a clear look beneath the surface at how power actually works. Power operates through perception, timing, and restraint, not ego or emotional release. To act with power is to remove yourself from the emotion, recognize the move being made, and choose your response deliberately. That awareness stabilizes you. It pulls you out of the endless cycle of reaction and recovery. You stop being moved by every provocation. You become the one who sees the board clearly, the chess player, not the piece, advancing with quiet, unshakable control. Once you understand this, reacting the old way becomes almost impossible. If this video gave you clarity, support it with a like. If you have an experience related to this, leave a comment. If you know someone who struggles with being disrespected, share this with them. Subscribe if you want more content like this, and watch the next video to see how these principles compound over time.